Hey everyone, this is Pharaoh Silver, the Pharaoh of Beer Money Finance, and this is the fourth Summer of Atlas video, a comprehensive guide to Atlas Earth. So in this video, we're going to talk about badges and titles. Now, at this point in the video, I'm looking at players who have achieved 40 parcels, with the exception of Nordic countries who would be at about 30 parcels at this point. I might be leaving out a few regions, but I will list those changes as they come the best that I can in the pinned comment below as soon as someone reminds me, or if I remember, these are going to be a little difficult to kind of figure out. And of course, I'll always, end up remaking some of these down the line as well. And by the way, if you like more content like this and you want to see more guides like this and other Beer Money reviews, then don't forget to hit the subscribe button and subscribe to Beer Money Engine for more Atlas Earth and other Beer Money related content. Alright, let's get started with mayorships and titles. So, titles are usually given to the user who puts down the most parcels of a city, state, province, or country. Now, there are three different levels of titles. There is the city, so that's the city level. You got the state province level, as I mentioned here, and the country, and the titles differ based on the country. In the US, these relate to mayorships for the city, governorships for the state, and the presidency for the country. However, these names, again, will vary. In Canada, for example, you can replace governorship with premiership and presidency with prime minister. Now, you can lose this title at any time, so you want to keep track, and there is a way to keep track where you are, and that is, well, there's two ways to do it. So the first one is going to be on the leaderboard. So you're going to go to the red button on the left with the trophy. Let's see if it will let me press this here. So on the leaderboard, there are 4 tabs available. The first one is global. This just shows you where everyone is in the world. But what you want to look at when you're looking at these mayorships, governorships, and other titles and so on are the other 3 tabs. So the second tab is the national leaderboard, and this is where you can see what your country's president, prime minister, king, whatever would be. There is also the third tab, which is state and province. Now, some of you might not have this, but this is for those that do. There's governorships, premierships, things like that for the state and province divisions. And finally, there is the city. And everyone should have a city one. Well, most should have a city one. And here you're able to see the mayorships and where they are on the leaderboard accordingly. So keep track of where you stand on your city leaderboard, especially since it will be needed to answer a few questions regarding badges, which we'll get to right now. But before we do, let me show you the second way to find out about your mayor, governor, premier, president, prime minister, whatever, and that is above the buy land button, you should see this little title here, and it will be rotating. It'll say city, state, and country. You're going to go ahead and tap that, and it will show you the entire list of your mayor, your current governor of that area, and the president of that area, or again, premier and prime minister. I've seen king for Saudi Arabia. So things like that. So, badges are used to help boost your income rent directly. There are 2 ways to get them. The first, as we mentioned in the last video, if you complete all the challenges, you're awarded with a free badge. So let's go back to our challenges here. Go all the way down, and you will see that badge down at the bottom left. Yes, the badge is numbered based off of the month that the challenges have shown up. So this is the 9th month, so thus the badge with the number 9 on it. Now on the right side is the legendary parcel upgrade. Again, we haven't talked about those yet, and you shouldn't have to worry about it at this point, at least not yet. Second, you want to go to the shop tab. So we're going to click on the shop tab here on the top left corner, or bottom left corner, my bad. And then we're going to go down past the legendary parcel upgrades over here to the passport badges. And you see, most of you should have 3 badges here. So these badges will cost 200 Atlas bucks per badge, and you will get the option to choose one of 3 pertaining to your city, state or province, and country. In some cases, state or city might not be available, though, depending on the map system. So just letting y'all know for those of you that might not have city or state. Now, the easiest way to do this, in my opinion, is to just complete all the challenges for a month and get your first badge that way. But in case you don't do that and you just want to go ahead and buy it, Yeah, let's talk about that. So you want to know which badge you want to get first? Let me try to help here. I'm going to give you two questions, all right? So again, go back to your leaderboard. If you looked at the city leaderboard, are you the current mayor or are you in a city with an unobtainable mayorship? So yes, I know that seems very diverse there, but let's say the current mayor of your city is at like 500 plus parcels or more, or you're in my town where I have like close to 3,000 right now in Kannapolis as of this recording. If they are, then go ahead and pick the city badge. The earlier because you are the mayor and you're going to benefit from it, and the latter because the chances of you probably ever being mayor here is pretty slim. You could, however, like go to a smaller town maybe, and you could try to get the mayorship there and then get a badge there. That could be another way that you could do it. But we're just going to assume that you are at home right now in your city. And so you're seeing that, 1,000 plus parcel town or something like that. Now, if you are somewhere close to the mayorship right now, this will apply a lot to international players. Then the second question is if a state or province badge is available in your area. And if so, go ahead and pick that badge. Otherwise, I say pick the country badge. At this point, you should buy or obtain your first badge. If you've already gotten your first badge from the challenges, then don't buy a badge, as I mentioned, because you will not need it. Now, there's a reason for most of you that you want to get a badge before your 41st parcel, and it is because of the diminishing returns of that parcel. A badge is worth 200 Atlas bucks, and the equivalent is buying 2 parcels. Your first badge will also boost 5% of your total income, and 5% of 40 is 2. Sorry for those of you that hate math, by the way. So at this point, you can either pay 200 Atlas bucks for 2 parcels, or with your first badge, you can pay 200 Atlas bucks for at least 2 parcels. Since every parcel that you earn will increase 5% of the badge. Now say you waited until you had 60 parcels, for example. Well, now if you bought the first badge then, it would be 3 parcels for a badge versus 2 parcels if you just bought it for the parcels. And here are the percentage boosts that you can expect based on the number of badges that you can obtain. At 1 badge, as we mentioned, it is 5%. At 11 badges, it moves up to 10%, 31 badges, it moves up to 15%, 61 badges to 20%, and finally, 101 badges reaches 25%. This total is a multiplier that is added to your earnings just throughout. So for example, if you have $10 a month in boosted parcels and you have 61 badges, that will give you a 20% boost, which means now you're earning $12 a month. Now, one more note. The reason Nordic players should have their first badge at 30 is because of an upcoming boost tier drop before they hit the 40 parcel mark, and we will talk about boost tier drops as we start leaving the early game, probably from the next video. Now, as for buying the city badge, I usually try to leave that as a last resort. And the reason is I would save it for when you get said mayorship. Now, if you see this as not possible as a free-to-play player or as a pay-as-you-go player, that's one thing. But for international players, as I mentioned, it is not completely out of the question that you're in a town where you already hold a mayorship at only about 30 or 40 parcels. Even a few really small towns in the US are probably at this level too. Once you hold a mayorship, you should be good to buy a badge then. And if you do, and you hold on to the mayorship by the end of the day, you will be rewarded with 20 Atlas bucks for buying your own badge. Mayors also get 20 Atlas bucks for anyone else buying their own badge in the city as well. Governorships and premierships will receive 20 Atlas bucks for anyone buying their own badge in their state or province, and presidencies and prime ministerships receive 20 Atlas bucks for anyone buying their own badge in the country. The latter two very likely will require you to spend on parcel packages though, and 99% will be more than what you'd earn as a pay-as-you-go player right now. At 40 parcels and a badge and with 21 hours of boosting, US players should be average earning about $4.88 a month. Most global players should be looking at $3.49 a month, and Nordic and Scandinavian players about $2.09 a month. Which means not enough to even buy the 100 Atlas buck package for a single month. At this point, you want to keep grinding to the end of the early game, keep participating in mini games to earn extra Atlas bucks, use the AMP program, watch ads, and complete challenges until the end of the early game. Now, what's the end of the early game? Well, we're going to talk about that in the next video, about early game, mid game, and late game, and the boost tiers, because a lot of it is going to depend on the region you are in, and that itself is going to be its own video. Now that's the video. This one is a pretty short and sweet one. The next one is going to get very math heavy though, fair warning, as we're going to talk about the boost tier drops and the end of the early game, as well as showing the differences between early, mid, and late game, and also how to do the break-even tier stuff that you would see on the Discord server, and a lot of you will understand the term break-even tiers. But first, I'll ask in the comments section, are there any topics that I may have missed? If I have missed enough that you want to see before we move on to that next part, let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like this video as well and subscribe to Beer Money Engine. I'm Pharaoh Silver signing off. See you later. Bye everyone.